We're following some new developments in a hostage standoff in Algeria. The country's state news agency is reporting the military has made a final push against Islamic militants at a gas plant. Several hostages, which include foreign workers, have reportedly been killed along with the terrorists. At least 12 hostages died when the military attacked the plant 3 days ago. David Gartenstein-Ross is a counterterrorism expert. He's director of the Center for the Study of Terrorist Radicalization at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, and he joins us with more from Washington. So, David, let's start with the reasons behind the hostage-taking in the first place. You say the attack on the Algerian gas plant was well planned and in retaliation against France. What exactly is going on?
First of all, when I say it was well planned, that means that it was planned in advance of France's intervention in Mali. It wasn't just a spur-of-the-moment thing. If it were, it would be one of the most impressive spur-of-the-moment attacks in the history of hostage-taking. But it seems to have been planned several weeks before. But we've seen a number of statements that have been released by the hostage-takers, and in those statements, they emphasize the fact that this is retaliatory for France's intervention in Mali. When they listed their final demands, they included the release of Omar Abdelrahman, the blind sheikh, and also Afia Siddiqui, who's imprisoned in the United States, indicating that this isn't a case of banditry. It's a case that is very much linked to events that are going on in Mali right now.
So I think for a lot of people watching the crisis in Algeria, people are learning more about this group. As you say, clearly they have the capacity to plan something like this, pull it off, and I gather they have a history and are well known to counterterrorism community. Tell me more about that.
This group, Mokhtar al-Mokhtar's group, which has claimed responsibility, was initially a part of al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb. They made a split last year. Actually, al-Mokhtar released a statement in December indicating his split from al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb. It wasn't a contentious split, however. It's not as though the two groups reduced themselves to fighting. Instead, there's still a lot of overlap between them within Mali. And when he made the split, al-Mokhtar indicated that while he didn't have allegiance to the leadership of al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb, which is al-Qaeda's North African branch, he still considered himself loyal to Ayman al-Zawahiri, who is the emir of the overall organization. So very much someone who's within its ambit.
So when you say that this group split from al-Qaeda, nonetheless, I mean, organizationally they may be separate, but they have common goals and common enemies?
Yes, and to be entirely clear, he split from al-Qaeda's North African branch. And when he made the split, he also affirmed leads to Ayman al-Zawahiri, who is the emir of the overall organization. So it's one of those amicable splits that indicates a continuing loyalty to the overall group, to its overall aspirations and ideology.
You know, as you can appreciate, very difficult to get confirmed rock-solid information out of Algeria right now, but there are reports that a Canadian is among the group of militants in this standoff at the gas plant. I just wonder, how does recruitment work for an organization like this?
In this particular case, there's a lot of questions about that. I should mention that we are only learning now where the attackers came from. You know, when initially every news outlet was reporting that the attackers had come from Mali. But lately, the information indicates instead that they'd trained in Libya and probably crossed the border from Libya. So as you can appreciate, when we're dealing with a situation where the identity of the attackers is a little bit fluid, we're only learning more information about where they came from, indicating their precise recruitment is a little bit difficult. But a couple of things I'll point to are, first of all, when you're looking transnationally, some of the chaos that's spread in a variety of countries, including Libya, has unleashed certain ideologies that previously were suppressed, particularly the ideology of Salafi jihadism, which we can see very dramatically in attacks on Sufi shrines and Indonesia attacks on stores, things like that. A second thing is that in Mali, you have a very frustrated population, high unemployment, including a particularly high youth unemployment, and to a number of Malians, the Islamist groups represent a more pure alternative compared to corruption of the government. Now, a lot of the militants who told this to journalists wouldn't themselves want to go and live in the areas that are controlled by Islamists. It's not difficult to find videos posted which show amputations that they're carrying out and other very brutal punishments as they extend their very draconian interpretation of Islamic law, including banning music and implementing the kind of punishments that I talked about.
So the declared target right now for this group is France, in part because of France's involvement in the situation in Mali, but also saying that it's issuing a call to attack, quote, the very heart of France. Do you think that threat is being taken seriously?
I'm certain the French are taking that seriously. There's no question about that. If you were to go back a week and say that one of the possible targets is that a number of foreign workers as well as local workers could be captured at an Algerian oil facility, people would have been a little bit skeptical of that, saying that that's hyperbolic. Now, these guys aren't 10 feet tall. They're not supermen who could do everything. But at the same time, it's very prudent for France to be wary of this, especially if you look back to the 1990s, during the period of the Algerian Civil War, something that a lot of Algerian Islamists blamed France for. They were able to execute a number of attacks in the heart of Paris. These kinds of capabilities may indeed continue. And of course, last year there was a dramatic reminder in the form of the Toulouse shootings, something which most security experts regard as a lone wolf attack, but something that indicates that there may be pools of recruits available there.
And beyond France, presumably there are also other countries under threat by this group. What about Canada? We know Canada is providing a measure of logistical support to the military intervention in Mali. Does that mean that Canada is now potentially at some level under threat by this group as well?
Well, potentially, but I'd put Canada far down the list of potential threats. I would say that the countries in the region are under much greater threat, including Morocco, including Niger, including Mauritania. But look, when you look at Canadian security officials and what they're thinking is going to be, it's going to be something that's part of their threat radar. It's going to be something where they're on the lookout of possible attacks that are based upon this. But certainly in either Canada or the United States, it's not something that would cause me to feel any fear or to avoid leaving my house. But it's the kind of thing that I certainly hope and also know that the authorities are taking seriously as a possibility.
David, appreciate your time today. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
David Gartenstein-Ross.